I've really just followed the things that I've been curious about. That's kind of how I've done things so far. And everything is related in some way. But the beauty of this is that you really have to put yourself in the shoes of the user to answer the question. I think an interesting question to ask would be to design a ride-sharing app for the blind.
Oh, wow.
Design a ride-sharing app for the blind.
Yeah.
And you had to figure this out on the spot.
No. This is just I didn't get asked this at Microsoft. I'm not telling you guys those because I don't think those were as interesting as. I mean, they were really interesting, but I'd have to like spend some time explaining the question because one of them was really technical. The other one wasn't. But yeah, back to the question. So I found out about the role of product manager, and then I went online. I started looking up what the frick it was. And then I found all of these questions. They were design questions more than anything else because as a PM, as a product manager, project manager, your role is to lead developers and designers, right, to build out a solution or a product for a client. In this case, it could be Microsoft. It could be a company they work for, work with. And so your job is to really be the captain of the ship, you know, and to steer everybody in the right direction and come up with how are we going to solve this problem.
Yeah.
And so the interview questions that I had to study to prepare for my interview were the ones I just asked you, like design a ride-sharing app for the blind.
Yeah.
And I was just like enamored by it. I was like, wow, I've never like, I can answer this question and get paid to answer this question.
No, like I'm really curious now because that just made me think like I would never even thought about how a blind person uses a phone in the first place, to let alone build an app for them.
I mean, I'd imagine that there's some sort of like vocal, you know.
Yeah, it must be.
These days, at least.
Oh, you're saying.
Well, there you go. Yeah, use Siri. So
you guys building it right now?
Yeah, no, this is fun. This is a good exercise.
But I mean, what else could you do? You could have like I mean, there's all kinds of like adapter, what's the word? Interfaces that they sell. You could have like a Braille
keyboard.
Yeah. Or
So
like, I mean, they do have Braille keyboard. But app is an interesting question because it's such a broad like word. An app can be an application on a computer, but
mobile app.
Most people think of it as like something in your pocket.
So is ride sharing like Uber or is it something different?
Yeah, like Uber. Ride sharing is in somebody picks you up that isn't your family member or friend, you know.
Are they also blind? No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody's blind. That would be interesting if you could figure that out.
Did you think about the question when you were asked?
I did.
You guys think
what did you come up with? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a funny question, but I want you guys to finish first.
I came up. My solution was I use vibration as kind of the go-to for the blind person, right? Just because they can't see, they can probably hear. So hearing would be another good solution. So either of them, vibration or hearing.
It could be like Morse code, where like one vibration equals this outcome, a second vibration, two vibrations equals this outcome,
and then like a prolonged means your car is.
And you're
here.
right. You could build the app just with audio alone, and you'd be good. Yeah.
Also.
What is the advantage of vibration that you see over? Because you clearly have thought about it.
I think audio is superior, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Now that I thought about it before. I was going to combine the two, but just implementing the vibration would be, I think, a good part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would be a good part of it because our brains are wired for like language and even music. So audio would be.
For a second, I thought you were saying vibration only is the real solution. I was
no,
like,
no,
how?
no.
Part of the solution.
Mixed. Because I mean, okay, so this is why I fell in love with this, and it all really ties into my interests, which are design, creativity, art, hard problems to solve. Like this stuff is, and it's just funny. I'm just thinking right now that I've really just followed the things that I've been curious about. That's kind of how I've done things so far, and everything is related in some way. But the beauty of this is that you really have to put yourself in the shoes of the user to answer the question. You know, for you to answer how do you design a ride-sharing app for the blind, like what I did is I thought to myself, okay, I'm a blind person and I live in New York and I'm in my apartment and I need to go to get groceries somewhere, right? Okay, walk me through it, Marco. How do I do it? Okay, well, I'm blind. Nobody lives in my... So then you start thinking, right? Okay, well, do I have somebody with me? Do I have a cane? Do I not have a cane? Do I live in a building? Do I live in a house? Well, if I live in a building, I have to go down the stairs or down an elevator. Okay, well, now I'm in the street. Well, how do I find my cab driver, right? Because there's so many cabs around. Well, what do I do now? And it's taking your brain through this process, through like the customer journey, essentially, the user experience. And I thought that was beautiful, just doing that mental exercise.
Dude, my favorite journalists, like right now currently, like Michael Pollan, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Man.
He does journalism. It's basically method acting. In order to research what he's doing, he does it. So for instance, he started doing food science, and so he built his own farm. He bought his own cattle. He started learning everything about raising food. He started learning about the chemistry of food, and this all took him a long time. Also, he could figure out, this is all the prerequisite to figure out what industries were doing wrong processing their food.
Wow.
And then he just recently did it with psychedelics too. But it's that's a really, really great point in terms of like, I guess I will just call it method acting for now, because that's basically what it is. And in terms of solving problems for people, that would be the best way to do it. Because when he first brought it up, the problem that popped in my head was the curse of knowledge, where you're building the app, so your perspective is skewed in a way that you won't be able to navigate around. But that's a great way to navigate around it as best you can. Start to try to pretend as if you're blind as best you can. Maybe even live like that temporarily to see what problems emerge. That's a pretty cool damn idea.